All right, let's do this. Let's start with our y-axis. So make yourself an xy, because I need to know what's got to be on my y-axis, from what minimum to what maximum has to be on my y-axis. All right, so my first question, gang is all here today. I like it. Before I shifted it with the +2, it went up to what and down to what? Before I shifted it with the +2. Originally, what was its max and min? 10, start us off right. Act together. From before I did the shift of 2, what was my min and max? -3 and 3. What was my shift? Let's go, 12. What was my shift? Up 2. So now what is my new minimum and my new maximum value? Let's go, 5. You guys get a crack? Good, good. Laugh it up, laugh it up. 17. My new minimum and maximum. Okay, so that's what's got to be on your Y scale at least. A -1 and a 5 have to be there. You can go above and beyond that, but got to at least be -1 and 5 on there. And now, how do I figure out what my x-axis has to go by? What value do I definitely need to figure out what my x-axis goes by? I need the what? 9, what do I need? Period. What's the formula? Yeah. What is the b value on this equation we're graphing? Let's roll. It's 7. 1/2. 2 pi divided by a half, everybody. Number 3, what's the period? 4 pi. Again, that's not what you go by. That's where this graph will end. That's where it will end. How do I figure out what it'll go by? Divide that by 4. So 4 pi divided by 4, we're going by, and starting with pi. So I start with pi. Next value, 2 pi. 3 pi, sorry. Got rattled. 4 pi, and that's where it ends. I know I'm going to do it just the way I've been doing it because I know a lot of you like it that way. Let's do it before I shift. So no shift of 2. I'm just going to plot the points where it should be without the shift of 2. If you guys want to just apply the shift as we go ahead. All right, cosine. Where we usually start with cosine. 6, the max. But what's this negative out in front telling me? So instead of starting at 3, it would start at -3. Where does cosine usually go now after the first key value? Next, 7, 0. Then it usually travels to, here you go, next, 15. In this case, it'd be the max, usually the min, but so I go up to 3 now. Back down to 0, I'll finish this now. And then to -3. Now, what are you going to do to each of these points? Because that's the original graph minus the shift. So now shift them all up 2. And I went down too many. One job. There we go. So let's shift them all up 1, up 2, up 2, up 2, up 2. All right, there we go, finally. There it is. Good times? We all good? Any issues? Ready to do some reading here today. The old word problems. Go ahead and go to day 1. All right, I want to talk about this word here so it doesn't freak you out or you start thinking the wrong thing. Sinusoidal. You can let that roll off the tongue. Okay, sinusoidal. All right, all that is telling us a curve that's sinusoidal, that does not mean it's a sine curve. It just means it's sine or cosine curve. All right, we're dealing with. All right, that's a sine or cosine curve. Don't think it just refers to a sine curve because it's got sine in it. Sinusoidal, let that roll off the tongue. It's been a devastating 3 days. We haven't been together. Anybody remind me how to find the amplitude? Max. I have no idea what just came out of your mouths. That could have been anything. Minus min divided by 2. And then how about my C value, the shift? Max plus min divided by 2. Yep. And the period we know is 2 pi over the frequency B. All right. All right, we're going to find these values. It's just going to be in a word problem now. And I am not the one who's going to read everything to you. So you can read about Poughkeepsie, New York right now. Go ahead. Anybody been down to Poughkeepsie lately? Me neither. No, I couldn't even tell you. Maybe to get the train, we went down to this New York City, maybe. I don't know. It's the only thing I could think of. Marist College in Poughkeepsie. Anybody looking at Marist? No. What's that? Yeah. There you go. All right. So what's the amplitude? What is the amplitude? All that reading just to find what's the amplitude. Well, we have a formula for it. Max minus min divided by 2, and I believe they give you the max and min right off the bat. So here we go. Let's go. 3. What do you got for me? 15 minus 9 divided by 2. 6 over 2. The amplitude here will be 3, halfway in between the max and the min. Yep. Or the distance between that. All good there. All right, that was no big deal. Oh, and then we come to this beast. You will see when in this unit, a lot of high tide, low tide. Why? High tide, low tide, going back up, starts forming cosine curves. All right, so a lot of high tide, low tide for us. You can read through maximum depth. You go ahead and take a little read there. Whew. I understand the 36 and the 22. What are they trying to tell me with high tide hits every 12 hours? Every 12 hours it hits. So high tide back up to high tide, 12 hours. That's basically a fancy way, and this is what's going to happen when we do these word problems is this is a fancy way of giving you the period without saying the word period. All right, the period's 12. All right, before we graph, I always like to see the equation before I graph. So can we do part B first? Find the A, B, and C value in this model. And we're not using the calculator for this, but so A, C, and then we'll go to B. All right, who's got me on the A value here? Who's got me? 15, you're up. 36 minus 22 all over 2. Amplitude 7. Thank you. Who's got me on the C value? 15. And the shift or the C value here? 29. B value. That you cannot get from the equation. Here you go. Number 1, what's my period here? Equals 2 pi divided by the B. Cross multiply, everybody. $18, B value. Yes, Ian. Great job, young one. I like the enthusiasm here. Teamwork. All right, we found A, B, and C. Ready to graph it. All right, y-axis. It's got to go where to where? What's your min and max? It's got to go 12 to 12. 22 to 36. Okay. What do you want to go by? You got to start at 0. You can't just jump to 22. So you go by 2s, go by 3s. You guys decide. But somewhere on this y-axis has to be the number 22 and the number 36, somewhere on there. Okay, so whatever you want to go by. Hey, this is what you can't jump. Oh, hey, I'll just put a 22 there. No, that means you're going by 11s, which I don't know. I guess you could, but I don't know. That's a little crazy to graph 36 with that. But let's not go by 20 or by 11s. I think you can fit it going by 2s on here. Oh, or by 6. Okay, whatever. It's both correct. We don't need to keep arguing. Yeah, there it is, 36. What about your x-axis? Going by 4s? Why 3? Period divided by 4. Yeah, look at you guys. Like you've been here before. Nice. So yes, the key values are going to be 12 divided by 4 every 3. Be careful. Read the question quickly in part A. Sketch a graph for 2 full periods. So you should not be ending at 12. Should be ending at 24. Oh, rough life. So 3, 6, 9, 12. And I'm going to challenge you today. I do not have the time or the patience to graph the pre-shift curve. I want to challenge you to do it all at once now. Okay? Now, look, if you want to do the pre-shift, that's fine. Feel free. But I think we can do it without it. What curve are we about to graph? Cosine curve. It says at the top, cosine. Where's cosine start? At the max. It tells us the max. What's the max value here? 30. 6. So at 0, it's going to be 36. Here's where you just got to be careful now. Usually cosine goes from the max to what? 0, but I don't want to graph that point, do I? Because there's a shift of 29. So I'm not going to graph 0 at 3. I'm going to graph 29. Then it usually goes to its minimum, which we know is 22. So we'll graph 22. And then it goes to 0 again, but not at 0 in this case, up 29. And then it ends at its max of 36, and we just got to do one more cycle of it. $29, 22, 29, 36. There's the tides. High tide to low tide. Everybody good? Wasn't too bad. Ready for the yo-yo? Anybody yo-yo experts or no? Come on. How long has it been since you've used a yo-yo or played with a yo-yo? Nobody? Okay. Have you seen any of those people that are just ridiculous with the can like rock the cradle, rock, I don't know what it is, the baby or whatever, and walk the dog, I don't know. They're just nuts. All the different yo-yo tricks. Ridiculous. And then the ones that light up. Okay. I'm just trying to have a discussion here, but it's not going anywhere, so I'll just keep moving on. So here's the equation. The yo-yo goes, a little cosine curve. What's the max and min height? The yo-yo goes above the ground. Max and min height should take you about 30 seconds, I think. What's the max and min height the yo-yo goes? Number one, ready? Before you moved it 2.25, where did it go up and down to? Yep, and then you applied that shift of 2.25. So what was its minimum height now? That's max. One job. Oh, okay. There we go. All right, sure. Because we're all going to need one of those next problem. Thank you. 0.5. There we go. So it goes down to 0.5. What are we doing? How many? What are we doing? Feet? So half a foot above the ground to 4 feet above the ground. Part B. How much time does it take this yo-yo to come back to the max? Another fancy way. Well, where do I let it go at? I let it go at the max, right? So how long does it take to return? That's another way of me saying, asking you for the what? That's another way of asking me what's the period, max to max. So that's a formula, 2 pi divided by b. Ooh, let's see here. See if we have any trouble finding the B value. Oh, number 4. Here's my equation. Where's the B value located? Pi. Nice job, Gabe. Thanks. Good to see you here. I want to take it a step further and tell me what the period is. 2. Again, in this problem, what's the 2 represent? 2 what? No, how much time? 2 seconds. So 2 seconds. Do that again. 2 seconds. All right. You're waiting for that one. Questions? All right. I'm going to do the big dog homework problem with you. There's 4 that I'm asking you to do tonight. I'm going to do the big dog one, number 4, with you. Little standard summer day. Please have a graphing calculator with you right now because you will need it for the Part B version of this. The number of hours since peak temperature. Sketch this function on the axes. All right. Let's see. What do I got to label my y-axis as? Let's see. Can you guys find me the minimum and maximum point on the y-axis I got to at least have on there? Shouldn't take you too long. When you're ready, 12. 60 and 82. Nice job. All right, now quickly, anybody see this? Well, everyone does, but you know what this is? A break. That means you can start wherever you want. You don't have to start at 0. So if you want to start at 60, start at 60. If you that's the nice thing about having a break there is because if you did start at 0, you got to go like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, got to go by the same amount. But if you start at 60 right now, that's fine. Now go by the same amounts to get to 82 or above. If you wanted to start at 50, you could start at 50 instead. But since our min is 60, might as well start there. And then figure out what our x-axis has to go by. What are the key values on the x-axis? For what seems like the 100th time, what value do you need to find your key values? P, period, yep. 2 pi divided by pi over 12. Looks like we're going to have some pi's cancel out. What's the period? 24. Oh, yeah, it's 24. So that tells me I'm going to go by not 24s, but 6s. Yep, 24 divided by 4. Go by 6s, everybody. And then I trust you guys for the most part. Go ahead and graph it after you've graphed the x-axis. It's a cosine curve. Where does it start? Remember your shift. You guys know the max and min already. Bless you. Nice job, everybody. Nice job. Ian, how's your crew doing back there? Okay. All right, ready for this last part? If the time t is from 0 to 24, that's what we graphed, right? 0 to 24. Determine all points where the outside temperature is equal to 75. Can you just put a little circle on your graph where it equals 75? All right, where it's equal to 75. Can you put a little circle on your graph where it's equal to 75? And you should be putting 2 of them right now. About right there for me, and about right there. Everyone agree about right there? And it says, find those points to the nearest tenth. No. I have no idea. I could tell you it's a little below 6, but can I tell you exactly where? No idea. All right, no idea. Am I going to be able to just look at the graph? The only thing I'm thinking about when I look at this graph, by the way, anybody reading books as a kid, Arthur the Aardvark? Got me? You see it? You remember you had the glasses or whatever? Anybody? Nothing, Grace? No? Did you grow up at all reading children's books? Maybe a little refresh here, everybody. Oh, okay. Yep, there he is. Yep. See, there you go. There you go. See? He's there. He was an aardvark. Yes, he was. Not bad. Not bad. All right. There you go. Okay. Yeah, it does every year when I do this. Yeah. With the glasses and. Oh, geez. Oh, boy. There we go. Oh, no, boy. I think we're good. We're good. All right. Anyway, sorry for that little children's time there. But we actually have to find where on the x-axis these lie. And that's why you got your calculators right now. Okay? We're going to find out where these two intersect right now. Okay? Before we start graphing this cosine curve, and you're going to find out why I've never had you use your calculators. Right? Your mode has to be in radians. Because here's, hey, it makes sense why, because we always graph in radians. So your calculator's got to be in radians if you want to graph. Okay? Now, we're not even ready to put the equation into y equals yet. Here's why. I want my calculator screen to look exactly like my xy axes that I drew up. And the way we change that so it looks the same is we go to your window right above here. Top row, window. Now, you guys help me fill this out. If you look at your graph right now, what's your x minimum? On the x-axis, what's your minimum value? Oh, boy.
6.
No. X-axis, what's my minimum value? 0. So make sure we put 0 in there. What am I going up to on the x-axis? 24. So I put in 24. And SCL is the scale I'm going by. 6. Perfect. Now let's do it for the y-axis. What's my minimum on the y-axis? 60. What about the max? 80. Yeah, you can put 84, 82. It's still all going to show up. And then I don't know what you went by. I went by 2s. You can keep it at 1. It's not going to matter. Okay, so you need to make sure your window on your graph looks just like you do have on your paper right now. Now we can go to y equals and type in that equation piece by piece. So 11 cosine. Now, if you have a fraction template, use it. If not, do another set of parentheses. So pi over 12. Not e, pi. Yep, laugh it up, kids. Yep. You come on up here. You'll see how tough it is. Pi, there we go, over 12. I don't have a t, but I can always use what? X, close that sucker up, plus 71. And then take a look at this butte, graph it. And there's the curve we have on our paper. Where are we concerned? Where it hits what number? 70. Ooh, how can I do that? How can I figure out where it's going to hit 75? I could go to the table too and get there finally. That would take forever. Ian, go back to your, nice job, young one. Go back to your y equal screen. And in y2, hey, show me where it's going to be 75. Graph that line. There you go. Now he's got a headband on. Never mind. Sorry. I won't. Okay, I'm sorry. You don't. I'm sorry. How do I find out where those 2 points are? Okay, algebra days, Mike. What do you got? Everybody, second trace. Which one of these lovely choices? Intersect. And then you should have the little, I call it the little spider on your screen. Somewhere hitting your left or right arrows, put it on one of the points of intersection as close as you can get. Oh, it takes forever. Okay. Magician. Gosh darn magician. Yep. Now what do we have? Sorry. Thanks for just taking the steam out of the class, everybody. Enter 3 times. And then it'll come up with the intersection point. So at 75, the x coordinate is 4 point da 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 da, but it asks us to round to the nearest tenth. So 4.6. Oh boy. Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, now to get to the other point, I just can't scroll over. I got to go through the whole process again. So second trace, number 5, intersect. And now I travel over to the other point of intersection and do the enter 3 times.
I don't really quite know what I
Okay, that's why. Here's why. Because on your mode, you had 0 highlighted, which means it's just going to round to the nearest whole number. Okay, so keep it on float. Okay, well, you're welcome for that help. Yeah, this is what I get. More attitude back.
It's 100% my fault, but I don't know what I did. It looks like that.
just your scale and everything here.
I changed it and then I pressed something and it. I think he's lying. Because I looked at him and I was like, no, you're not.
And when you guys got to the other point, to the nearest tenth, 19.4. Yep. So that's when it's going to hit 75. All you have is 3 more problems left. Plenty of time. Flip it over. Let's get going. You could definitely get these 3 problems done. They don't even require, graphing.